All right. Good evening. Good evening to everyone out there, to our lovely audience. Mwah. Welcome back again with Heart to Heart with Dads between Daddy Koketso and Daddy Tabiso being me. The time is 6 o'clock once again. We're meeting on a lovely evening. I know it's a holiday, and right now a lot of people are resting, and we thought it would be a perfect opportunity for us just to sit down with you and have a heart-to-heart talk to prepare you into this productive week that you are about to have and conclude. I think it's the last week of the month, and we're expecting wonderful results. So welcome again to the show. I am Daddy Tabiso. Daddy Koketso.
Good evening, moms. Good evening, dads. It's another episode, as DDT has said. Let's do this. Heart to heart with dads.
With
Let's hit those hard topics. That hits the hard with dads. Let's have a chat. We are blessed with guests tonight. Yeah, we'll introduce them as we go, but I can see on the screen now, Daddy Andrew is already there. Daddy Andrew, what are you saying there? Let's have this chat. Let's have a heart to heart.
Before I give the floor to Daddy Andrew to introduce himself to all our dads and moms. So basically, today's show is a bit different. We're not coming in with a different topic. If you've noticed, we've been updating our posters. I mean, we're taking this thing very, very huge, and now we've got posters that we have to update and just to keep you guys updated. So what's happening is, with regards to last week's topic, where we're talking about dads raising daughters and girl children, we've had a lot of requests saying, Uguti, you know what, we feel that there is more to be yet discovered with this topic. There's more that can be unlayered with regards to this topic. It was a very powerful topic. So just to explain, we're having a continuation. This is simply part 2 of the dad raising a girl child. And what we did is now we put a twist in it. We have guests who are joining us in the show, and they will be basically talking about their personal experiences as they are raising daughters for us. All right. Do we still have Daddy Andrew?
Rapakolla kajeko.
We are
unpacking this thing. I think Daddy Andrew will join us just now. But yeah, we have guests, as you said. Daddy Andrew is here. Daddy, welcome. Daddy Andrew, introduce yourself. We've introduced you as Daddy Andrew. Latela mo.
Okay, so Daddy Tabiso. I think we should use acronyms. You guys should just call me DA, and then there's DK and DT. It becomes much funkier.
We'll talk to our managers and production, eh?
No. But first of all, thank you for having me tonight. My debut. I feel like a soccer player about to score a hat-trick on his first game. It's a privilege and an honor to finally appear on Dads in the Picture. I know Daddy Koketso has always been talking about it. I've always wanted to take part, but my schedule has been defeating me. Fortunately, I'm on leave now, and yeah, I've got plenty of time on my hands. Just a quick synopsis about myself. I'm a father to a 9-year-old, soon to be 10, in just over 2 weeks.
I think we lost Daddy Andrew there. I'm not sure. Can you hear me, Daddy T?
I can hear you,
as Daddy Andrew was saying, DT. Can you hear me? Can you hear DK?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome experience. I just heard Mr. Andrew, Daddy Andrew, saying he's got a 10-year-old daughter, and
about
it should be
10.
interesting. About 10, ne?
Yeah.
All right. No. It's going to be an interesting one. And then on the other side, with our second guest, his daughters are
DA is
now
back.
over. DA, Daddy Andrew.
Okay, I think we're losing him again. Maybe let's continue.
100%.
DA,
Yes, I
are
was
you
about
back?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me? I don't know what's happening.
Yes.
I trust my Wi-Fi, but today I don't know. I think it's got stage fright.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you. These things happen. Believe you me, we come far from, so we come very far when it comes to network. Today, we have it on point. We received advice from a lot of our audience and our
Nice.
guests telling us, "Uguti, this is what you can do." And we've been listening.
Yeah.
We've been listening. So yes, Daddy Andrew, DA, talk to us. You were telling us about you have a 9-year-old, soon to be 10.
Yes. It's we're entering a different, sphere altogether. She's hitting double digits. It's been interesting. The journey has been a very tumultuous one. Some good times, some not so good times. I don't want to say bad because as a father raising a child, there can never be bad moments. You just manage the situation and make
It's
sure
just
that
challenging moments. Yes.
you align. You just align. I mean, we've all been through those phases, but it's just a matter of conduct and instilling discipline in your child, especially a girl child. Looking at today's topic, it's not easy as a father with everything that happens around us, with all the horror stories that you hear. You always worry about, especially the girl child. I mean, you don't
Can I,
spend.
sorry for interrupting there, Daddy Andrew. Sorry. I think, you know what? Let's jump into this topic. I see your engines are on the 7th gear. So I think you are already answering the first part of our discussion. I'm going to ask it even though you had started. Can you tell
Okay,
us,
cool.
in this day and age where we are right now, what are some of the challenges that you are currently experiencing, or some of the challenges that you go through on a day-to-day basis? Just flow with it.
Look, I mean, like there's a lot happening around us, and we have to be frank with ourselves. We don't spend most of the 24 hours in a day with our kids because they are more often than not at school, at aftercare. You only catch during a working day. You catch them in the morning when you prepare to go to school, and drop off. You at work, they're at school, and then you only catch the last bit of the day. So whatever happens in between is it's not within your control, because now they're operating in a different realm. They're at, the mercy of the world out there. Yes, we leave them at school, but how, like, the contact that they make, they make contact with a different, kids from different backgrounds, and you pick it up when they come back from school, from what they say and sometimes how they behave, because there's a lot of influence that they encounter when they are, outside the home environment. And sometimes it's, you pick it up in their moods, you pick it up in their attitude. It can be both ways. It can be good, it can be bad. But obviously now when they are in the household space, that's where you are able to control and filter their thoughts. Yes, you will have fights. I mean, kids are very cheeky, especially especially
Especially.
when they start growing up, and they form their own opinions. I mean, we allow them to have gadgets. They've got tablets, they've got cell phones, they access a lot of data out there, a lot of information, and you need to be able to navigate around that and make sure that you guide them accordingly, because your kid is your reflection at the end of the day. And if they are out of line, then it starts saying a lot about you, not just as a dad, but also as a mother. Like what values are you instilling from a household front? So all of those intricacies need to be managed. I think we've all got kids in different age groups. And I'm certainly quite interested to see how I'm going to handle the teenage phase. Because I can't predict how that's going to turn out. So I've still got a couple more years to not worry about boyfriend issues.
And Kamujaja Nabu, ADT.
Yes, sir.
I happen to know Andrew's daughter. They were actually here last night. Natalie Elena, we had a bit of a braai with our visitors and stuff.
Yes.
So we good friends. Daddy Andrew, thank you for
Yeah.
elaborating on that and telling us about your concerns and what the daily worries are, what the daily goods are, and what an awesome relationship you have with Bobo, your daughter. Daddy T, you can continue. We have another
Yes. No.
guest. We
No.
have
We'll
another
come to.
guest.
We'll come.
I was
We'll
just
come
commenting
to.
on what Daddy Andrew was saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got another question to Daddy Andrew. So, Daddy Andrew,
Okay.
obviously with especially I go back to this thing of saying nowadays, I mean, we have a very, very big problem currently of your kidnappings, those type of stuff, children going missing. And obviously I can imagine that it might be even more difficult for you raising a daughter, or for your daughter it might be more difficult in this challenge that I'm specifically focusing on. Quickly throw us into your emotions when you think about your daughter being outside where you don't have control. Again, you use that word control. Being outside where you don't have control in different types of communities, be it a township or in a suburban area. Currently, we are facing difficult times when it comes to kidnappings, and the list goes on. What goes in emotionally in your heart when you either think about your daughter being outside of your control, where she might go to a tuck shop or something and you don't know, or when they are actually out there? What goes through your emotions?
No, look, you tend to worry and you panic because just by sheer size and physique, they cannot uh, fight off, especially physical confrontation. So it's a bit of a concern every time they go to school. With the level of bullying that happens, or even when they're just playing with over the weekend with their friends outside. You're
Hmm.
always concerned because you you never know what might happen. But you try to teach them not to talk to strangers, not to accept anything from somebody that they don't know, and even if it's somebody they know, they must exercise caution as to what they are being given, what they are consuming, what what they are doing as well. But
Mhm.
I mean, like, and as dads, especially if you are in a relationship with a partner or you're married, you will always get it, and it's something that you cannot run away from. Where if you as the dad have gone out with your daughter, there will be constant reminders or checking up from the wife or the partner to say, hey, is she okay? Is she
Hmm.
within
Hmm.
close
Hmm. Hmm.
proximity? I mean, I had it just this past weekend. I went on a working trip with my daughter, and
Hmm.
like my wife kept uh, checking, like, is she okay? Because I work in the liquor industry, so sometimes it gets a bit hectic where I will obviously I will get a child minder to look after her, but then the concern from
You
home would be
obviously
like,
have to be very cautious
yes,
and on your feet all the time.
yes, yes, so it's very troubling. It's very troubling because on a daily basis we hear of cases where little girls are
Gone
raped,
missing and stuff.
mutilated, and when a child goes missing, especially girl child, you don't want to think of it, but the worst case scenario will
Think
be
of the worst.
I'm not
The
going
reality
to
of
go
the
into
worst.
detail. Yeah, but it's very troubling, and because we live in a sick world, you will always have those thoughts,
That's true. That's
unfortunately.
true.
Yeah.
And then, thank you for that one. Somewhere last week, we had one of our audience coming through with a question of, or a concern of, when we're raising our daughters nowadays, are we raising our daughters for the marriage stage, or how do we
Marriage.
go about it? I mean, obviously, times have changed. We've got women working in a male-dominated areas, and just the whole role of a woman and a husband, or a wife and a husband, it has changed, But from your side, focusing on that idea of, are we raising our daughters for marriage? What is your take on that? What is your approach on that part?
Off the bat, Daddy T.
Yes,
Into the
sir.
deep end. Daddy Andrew, Daddy Andrew, you are now swimming in the deep now. I hope you had the question. Off the bat, swim. Are we raising our daughters for marriage?
Yes.
Are we, why should we let them consider marriage? And as we raise them, are we doing it for marriage?
I think the challenge is this stereotype has been ingrained in us for the longest of time, and it's really unfair on the child already, like at their age, especially if there's like pre-teen. You're already, and even in their teens, you're already starting to talk of, no, you need to be this type of character, be this type of person, so that when you get married, you will be well received, and I think it's wrong because every individual has it's the prerogative to decide what they want to do. Yes, as a parent, especially to a girl child, you will want them to be of good manners, of etiquette, because you see, when you look at your girl child, you almost like see a wife that you are going to marry. But we cannot be unfair to them and like impose all of that onto them. All we can do for them is give them good values and a solid foundation. And then when they grow up, they will make the choice on whether to get married, or when they get married, what type of person are they going to be in a marriage. So we can't really impose uh, our thoughts and our values onto them. They have a mind of their own, especially when they grow up. The decision will lie solely at their feet.
So
Nice
ours
one.
is to raise complete people. Ours is to raise complete boys, to raise complete girls, so that in the future they can together decide, oh, I want this one. No, I want this one.
I don't want this one.
Not to
Yes.
say now at 12 years, tlhatswa dibiana, because untlung ya hao, you will be expected to tlhatswa dibiana.
Uh-huh.
So
Right. Sorry,
our
sorry
audience
for
is to say,
disturbing.
let's raise
Yeah.
complete children.
Individuals,
Abundantly.
100%.
Yes.
All right. So, Daddy Andrew, we're not done yet with you. We're still having a quick chat with you. I just want to formally bring in, just to introduce Mr. Chabalala, our second guest. But obviously, we will also give him his own platform as soon as we are done speaking to DA, aka Daddy Andrew. Baba Chabalala, no, it's a pleasure to have you. We see Uguti. Your signal is now behaving like a good child is supposed to behave.
No, siyabonga. Bonga thina
Well,
bonga ezimbili.
100%. Welcome to the session, Mr. Shabalala. We're just asking Mr. Andrew a couple of questions. We're having a discussion with him, basically. And while we're doing having a discussion with him, we know that I've mentioned your platform will come after him, but you are more than welcome if at any stage you feel like I also have my 2 rand coin that I want to hoy in his Dikakanyo High. Okay? 100%. Daddy Koketso, is there any question maybe to follow up with Mr. Andrew Kapa? You okay? Because now what's ever serious in the deep end.
Yes, he must swim. He must swim.
You must
you
swim.
don't get here. You don't get here and just float. You go deeper. We go deeper here. Yes. So DA, what is your deepest fear in raising a daughter? What is the deepest fear? The fears will be different for me, for you, DT, for Babu, BT, for you, DA. But yeah, as we are now, what is the deepest fear? I have my own, and after you specify or say your own or mention them, I can also say that my own, like mention my own if you want me to. But I'm just asking, what are your deepest fears in terms of ubo and raising a girl child, being a man that knows what us men, not you, us men do?
No, I think the biggest one for me is respect. If I fail to teach her how to respect people, how to have basic manners, I would have failed myself immensely because, like I mentioned earlier on, I am my child is a reflection of how I raised them. When she goes out into the world, does she know that there are older people? So, for example, if an older person is behind her, about to walk into an entrance, does she know when to stop? Does she know when to proceed? Things like that. It's very small things, but if I, as her dad, fail to instill those things, I mean, I can teach her, yes, but she will need to interpret them, and how she interprets them will show my how I raise her. And it sometimes you think, no, this thing is very minute, it's very tiny, people will not pick it up. Like, how I mean, kids her age, she's 9, about to turn 10. I hear kids her age like just swearing loosely, and I'm thinking to myself, but no, there's something wrong at home, because a child will not just swear out of the blue. You can't even if they learn it from school, but when they get home, you help them and learn that, because they if it's gonna come out, and if you're indeed a vigilant parent, you will pick up those things and you will mend them at home. But if you do not do anything about them, then those mannerisms and attitudes will then flow into their daily life, outside of school now. So you'll be shocked then when you send your kid to their grandparents and you get the phone call that, hey, this one is a skr kid. She uses F words left, right, and center, and you hold your head like you hear, and you know what, like these words are loosely used in the house, or we heard them in the house because of school, but we did not, put corrective measures in place, because sometimes we tend to make these things very, difficult, whereas they're very easy to solve. The remedies are there. It's just a matter of choice. As an individual, as a parent, as a mother, as a father, it is your sole responsibility to make sure that these things are sorted out. And that for me is a big fear, because now if you don't do anything about your child's conduct while they're still ngwana o mokoba e sale o monyane. And e sale o monyane, it's easy to do that. Because once they start getting, into adult life, then it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, imagine if you let your kid throughout their teenage years just go around disrespecting elders, just cursing and all of that. What are you going to do when they're 22? They just finished, tertiary, get their first job, and first boss that they encounter, they just somewhere first day use the F word, before even tasting the before even tasting first pay. So for me that is a fear
The biggest fears, no?
no, and I'm trying my level best to always try to work around that.
100%. Yes,
Daddy
sir.
Druza, ke utlwile ne? We're gonna introduce our next guest. Daddy T, before you do that, I just want to pinpoint something, and maybe DA will answer me. Daddy Endo, is your fear that she will not have learned what you've taught her, or is your fear that she will discard what you've taught her? I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll get to it.
Not
Daddy T, continue.
All right. Sorry about that, Mr. Andrew. All right. Baba Shabalala, I think we are coming over to your side now.
Thanks, Baba. Yes.
Ke nana re utlweletse fifing for nako e telele. Hai, before we lose Satan signal behavior. Yes. Baba Shabalala Kunjani, can you kindly introduce yourself? Tell our audience who you are in terms of your daughters briefly, and then we'll jump into a few questions.
All right. Thanks, T. Good evening. My name is Ntoti Chabalala. I live in Vanderbilt Park, SC2. I am a father to 3 daughters.
3?
Yeah, 3 daughters. Yeah. Thokozile, Zanele, and Sibongile. So otherwise, I'm a person who loves to be among the people and then sharing some ideas with them. And then, of course, listening to them as to what they have to say, so that I can also maybe deduce from what they have said and then put it in my own perspective,
100%. So, Daddy Andrew, from your side, it seems like there is a lesson or two, hopefully, that you, myself, and any younger generation out there that we're going to learn from the likes of Mr. Chabalala. All right, so...
And as well.
From Daddy Koketso as well. I'm sorry, I didn't forget
Daddy Koketso as well.
Daddy Koketso as well. Yes, with 2 daughters. Daddy Koketso, do you have a first question for Mr. Chabalala?
Daddy Chabalala, I know this is a connected relationship between you and DT. This is a connected relationship between me and DA. Knowing, okay, let me start it correctly and finish it correctly. Knowing what the daughter that he married is like, what would you say to him? That would speak towards the way that you've raised her and the way that he should raise his daughter. I don't know if that makes sense. Generational question. A generational question.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. First and foremost, may I just share this with you that, I believe that children are a gift from God. And of course, you cannot choose to say, I want this child or that child. It is just a gift that is from God. And then secondly, may I also emphasize the fact that, I haven't seen myself raising a girl child, but I saw myself raising children, Yeah. By so
I get
saying,
to that.
by so saying, of course, I don't want to tap on other people's toes, you know, by saying maybe if I'll have to put forth my thinking to say boys are like this, girls are like this, but children in general, right? Secondly, may I also just add that, you know, to me, what is the most important thing in raising children is to give them a respect. Then make them understand that respect goes a long way, and whom to respect in the first place. The child must learn that he or she must respect himself or herself first. If she takes care of that, then it is easier to go to the next person. Can it be a parent? Can it be a person outside? Can it be a teacher at school? But if, according to the morals that that child was, groomed in, then respect being the most important thing, I believe that goes a long way. So because, the home, to me, I can say it is where now things are done, behind the scenes, because that is where the informal education is taking place. And what is the child getting from home? Once he steps out of the home to the community or the public in general, having that in him or in her, the child will know exactly how to adjust or how to go about. So the other important thing to me is the independence. The child must learn to be independent. Once the child is independent, then that it makes the child who is he or who is she, because such a child will not be a pretender when coming to the parents, or going outside, because there is this thing that when you are among, other people or the other environment, then you suddenly change to follow the things which may sometimes mislead you, in a way or other. But once the child is independent and have an independent thinking, he or she can easily say, okay, I believe this is not in accordance to my belief or my thinking. So this should be done this way. So the influence can also be curtailed in that. So that independence,
100%. And then there's
our children need to be grounded.
Yeah.
And it's important. It's important what you say. Sorry. Oh, there's something you also want to say.
That is not done.
Yeah.
Yes. You know me.
I was coming to maybe the third point.
Yes.
So the third point also goes hand in glove with independence. That is, believe in yourself. So whatever situation you find yourself in, know that I can penetrate and I can go through. So you cannot be a coward when you come across the challenges of life, because here you are preparing a person to enter a big stage, which is the world. So once the child believes in himself or in herself, then he can easily stand for any diversity, and then
maneuver life as a whole.
Life, So so that is why then I just want to say, believing in himself or herself, he can now, he or she can push forward. I always
push forward in life.
Yeah.
And then we've got a comment that came through from Mr. Thabo Mujapelo. Mr. Thabo Mujapelo saying, Tupa ikojwa isalinyani. What is your take? Isalimezi, yes. What is your take on that?
No, that one is 100% plus true. Because the child's mind is like a sponge, because it absorbs, very quick, and by so doing, any information that you cascade to the child easily absorbs that as true, And now, if you give wrong information to a young child, then that will create a problem in future. But once you give, a correct and a good examples of life, then the child will. That is the belief, of course, that the child will now absorb that and then go further with it.
And there's an ironic link between what you've just mentioned and what Daddy Andrew mentioned as his biggest fear. I recall he mentioned that his biggest fear is his child discarding or not learning fully what he wanted to impart. And coming back to you saying, you have to impart knowledge and life skills and experiences. So it's funny how that was his biggest fear. Give it is knowledge, give it is being a biggest fear is a very, very, very powerful thing. So coming back to you, Mr. Shabalala, when you look at what's happening in our country right now, and I specifically go back to girls in this topic, when you look at what's currently happening in our country, do you think things are more difficult? Do you think they are more easier, or do you think it's the same in terms of challenges that parents raising daughters are facing? The rape, the kidnapping. What do you think about the challenges? Are they the same as previously in the years, or has changed? What is your take on that one?
Yeah, there is a great change, of course.
Okay.
Compared to the ages in which we were growing up.
Yes.
Yeah. So what really makes this? What really brought these changes? Is the media.
Okay.
These days we are having televisions. We've got these social media. We've got so many things that are taking place. So the child, you'll find that in the household, the family does not have that quality time for the family, because one will be watching generation, the other one will be busy with his or her phone, and then that it brings a negligence to the adherence of the family.
Family orientation.
So in other words, during our times, you say to a child, "Uskaja mahi usalumnyani." Yeah, and then when you come to television, there is an advert here. A child is having so that is a big challenge, that one. So yeah, that's what I can say, of course. Yeah.
No,
so
I understand.
Even in the stories that we share. So in our times, we had what is home.
Oh yes, storytelling.
Where you listen to adults telling you about really deep.
Yes.
Yeah. So today's children, we cannot tell them about Lidim and Zelan. They'll tell you, Papa,
I don't believe in that.
So we need to take a new approach.
Yes. Yeah. Dedike, you seem like you have something to say.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, I think to add on to what Ndate BT was saying, as DA alluded that we should use acronyms, but yeah, Ndate BT raised a very valid point. We've moved on from the ages that Ndate BT was saying. There's stuff on TV now that even the stuff that you've learned from your parents, when you start saying them, they look at you. Your children start looking at you as it's the BT was saying, not just the girl child or the boy child. Any child will look at you and say, but it's there on TV. Like, what are you saying? What are you saying, bro? Like, yeah.
And it is very
Yeah.
it is very interesting the point that Mr. Chabalala just brought forward.
Yeah.
Access to social networks and the outside world, where we there's a culture that we were. I want to use the word where. There's a culture that the older generation was pushing. Now there's access to your cell phones, internet, and our children are being exposed, and not only exposed, but the cultures of outside. And with that whole thing happening, as Bob Chabalala just mentioned, it just changes the framework of a mental approach in general.
Yeah.
All right.
I sat down with my daughter. I think it was a week or two ago. She wants WhatsApp on her phone. I said, it's not gonna happen. Why? She's 12. My worry.
All right. Seems like we might have lost Daddy Kwake, so we'll finish up when he comes back. Daddy Andrew, quickly, what is, just quick seconds, just a couple of, so what is your thought on what Mr. Chabalala was saying and the point of technology and the exposure of technology that it brings with?
You know, I actually was intrigued by what Mr. Chabalala.
Hey, I'm losing everyone. Mr. Chabalala, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I think I'm left with you alone here.
In the previous.
Yes, Andrew, we can hear you.
The signal is bad.
All right, no problem.
I'm back.
So the last one, not the last one, another question that came through from one of our audiences.
Sorry about that, guys. I think I'm back now.
Welcome back. Andrew, are you back as well? Kapa Onsoli, I see your eyes are moving.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. So what Mr. Chabalala said with regards to giving kids independence, obviously he raised his daughters in a different era to what we are currently encountering. But I wanted to find out, the issue of clothing. It's always controversial when it comes to daughters. How did you maneuver around that? Because now I've got a 9-year-old who wants to choose what she likes, what she wants to wear. But I mean, I need to be cognizant of the fact that she's not dressed in an inappropriate manner.
What a question!
Be that as it may, what is appropriate? Because there's appropriate according to myself and her mother, and there's appropriate according to society. And society now is social media. One promotes full attires. The other is less is more. So how would you guide us in that regard? Because one of your daughters is married to DT, and I'm curious to find out, how did he actually get his eyes on her? Was it and how did you respond to it when the approaches were made and you were told that there's a certain Taviso that wants to
fully loaded question, Shem. Yo, good luck, and that BT.
Yeah. Yes, dedicated.
No, I was saying good luck that BT.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much.
Loaded question.
Yeah, I can hear that DA now is throwing in the lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, my response will be, when coming to dress code, dress code is problematic even in the in the workplace, right from home and the workplace. But now, to be honest, as I spoke about the independence of the child, so when the child grows up, you will see as a child, the child will dress in the manner in which she feels comfortable in. The child will dress in that way. Up until maybe a certain, maybe the teenage era, and then when she approaches now the adulthood, I believe the relationship between the mother, the father, and the child will now be emphasized more. Like now you are becoming now towards adulthood, before turning 21 and so forth, So the mother will now guide the child there. Not to shun the child to say, don't dress that, what, because it will be a problem, that one, because that child, what will the child do? The child will go out here from home, dressing in a skirt which goes right to the ankles, so to speak. Whereas she's having that mini strapezana, she folded it into her bag. And when she goes outside, she's now going to wear that outside. That will be a bad thing, of course. But once a child has the independence, being emphasized to say, okay, you look nice in this. How do you feel yourself? Then the child maybe will respond also. And then show the child maybe the dangers, the advantages of dressing in this manner and the disadvantages of dressing in this manner. And then the child will...
And the yin and the yang.
So the child...
both sides.
Exactly. Then the child will now come also and say, but mother, because when coming to dresses, I think that the person who's playing a major role there is the mother. Then you tell the mother that in this one I feel a little bit better. And then that is it. That's how I can just respond. I don't want to say this, it becomes, or in this house, you are not going to dress in this way. You are going to dress in this way. You see, that becomes problematic, And let us also remember that raising a child, it doesn't mean that there is a champion who can raise children in the right way, and then you start to pat yourself on the shoulder and say, you see me, I've done this and that. No, it is just a sheer blessing from God, Say the children, maybe they have listened to what you have said, and then they've taken that into their own, and then they decided, and then they said, okay, right, I'm going to follow this path, Yeah, we cannot pat ourselves on the shoulders to say,
on the shoulders,
because that I take it, from myself as I was growing up. My parents were very democratic. They will say, you are lucky, Bona, cigarette sina, inki, Bona or now with Sajwa. But
this is what's gonna happen. Yes.
From that point that you've just mentioned, can you hear me?
Nuggets, number of them there.
From that point that you've just mentioned just now of saying, well, here's this and this, more life thing, but know the consequences of 1, 2, 3. It's making me think of Daddy Andrew and how he introduced himself. He mentioned he has a 9-year-old who's soon going to be 10. So I see that the time is also running. So my question to you, it might be the last one from me. Maybe Koketo will have one at the end. My question to you is, yeah, I respect what how you opened and said your approach. That's very important, by the way. Your approach is not saying, am I raising a girl child or a boy child? The approach should be, I am raising a child, all right? So from that approach, I'm going to again specifically go with the topic that we are talking about of raising a girl child. What would your advice be for all the dads out there who are raising children, and specifically a girl child, when it comes to stages as they grow? What is your
Watching
advice?
us now,
What is your
watching us
advice?
later on.
Yes, what is your advice to all the dads raising children, especially girl child, on different stages? Hona jwale o raisa ngwana wa 9 year going 10. 3 years time, o kena ho teenager. 7 years time, o ya varsity, re bua ka a young adult. Very soon, we're talking about what would be your advice to him and all the dads be?
Okay. Thanks for that question. Yeah. In Kutisetsa Morao, who Ntate Mandela. I remember Ntate Mandela, Anarikopana Lena, Rele Bana ba Hlokomela Bana, Baneba Riruta Bana. Ntate Mandela said to us, but to Yokopanto Elim with Ella as teachers, make sure Bana Jwala Ganze Batabale primary. Aba fihla mane who stage is a teenage puberty stage. Make sure that you grasp the rails and you hula a bit tough. So my approach to that, I would say, because you as the father or the parent to the child, the child starts to see changes, and the child becomes to be amazed by some of the changes that are taking place. And now that is where now the influence also plays a predominant role there. That is where now the emphasis, a family quality time is needed, a talk. Let the parent be with the near to the child. Let the child be near to the parent. Because the moment you open up a gap between the parent and the child, that child is going to meet the people who will be telling him or her about the things which are very good out there. Things like, why? Simply because the father or the mother, they have now taken a back seat. But if you are always near the child, the child goes to school, be there. If you've got at the time, maybe take the child to the school. Then collect the child after school. Ask the child about the homeworks and what is happening around the child. If the child goes to the sport, be with the child to the sport. You're supporting the child. If the child goes to town, the child wants to go to town maybe to do some other things. Release the child and then just put up the time there to say, at this time, surely you will be done with what you will be doing. And then I'll be happy if we can come back at that time. Then those things, I think those are the things that could maybe assist. I'm not saying these are the things, but being closer to your child, that time is needed. At the puberty stage, at the teenage stage, be with your child. Yeah. Then up until the child comes to
young adult stage,
university, and then you know that when the child goes to the university, if you have been holding your child strict, then that's where again the problems will now emanate. But if you have given the child the liberty to do whatever she wants to do or he wants to do, but monitoring that, Not just allow the child to do and then step back, but be there. Then maybe it will try to help also.
Sure. Did you go get?
Yeah, I picked up forwards.
It was powerful, ne?
Yeah. I picked up forwards in summary Nafuna. What I picked up from that, Daddy BT yo. Yeah, it was a loaded question, but we Vietnamese. Now in summary for now, in what you said was, as desert moms are listening out there, educate your children, liberate them, not try Korean leadership kamundu. Give them freedom and let them be free. Like Agiti, I lost the last word. Yeah, like yo, what's the last word? Okay, I'll get it. But yeah, in summary now, when I was listening to Ndati, yo, yeah, no, Uchumile Toch, Koki Angoti. She's 12. I'm approaching it. Yeah.
I hope, as you say, Uchumile Toch here how.
Yeah, Uchumile Toch, Uchumile Gopil, I'm Bonzaro no Gopil. I really appreciate 100%. That. Yo, guys,
and I hope with regards to what you sorry for interrupting. I hope with regards to what you're saying that everyone out there raising a child besides a girl child has learned a lot from this session. I mean, from those last words, as he said, do not chain your child, but show them love and be present in their lives.
Yes.
And by doing that, funny thing is all my peers and my classmates who we knew for a fact they were chained. The minute the gates were opened by a tertiary, they were the first ones to fall off the wagon, you know?
Yes.
And it's funny how it's made, because they're tasting this freedom for the first time. Kanti, when you say, I'm your parent, I will help you make right decisions, but I will not make them for you. And I can tell so. The dangers are 1, 2, 3. Peer pressure high feature. If it are mentally prepared, if it are Honal defy like a memory card, my dad did say, Joala would get a so. The 35, it gets a so. And now my friends Banki Samuel, do I want to do this? So that's the lucky part. You as a parent being there from the word go.
And letting them be your friends. Like, be your friends. Like, don't. Oh, it's na ikvita gonlu. Papa na ratsena. Ke a go ka moreng. Ya ka moreng baba o fihlile. O tlo lebella di news a je. Then has na ja calling ka ya robala. Lena le tata la bua TV.
Papa friends,
be friends. Hey, be friends le bana ba lena, guys. Mom's days. I won.
All right.
We can't perpetuate this whole thing. We can't perpetuate this thing. But the parents and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Things must change.
Let's learn from our experiences.
Yes.
This whole thing will continue.
All right. Can we give Baba Shabalala an opportunity to close off and say his goodbyes before we let you go? Baba Shabalala, the floor is yours.
Oh, ngiyabonga kakhulu ngethuba eningiphe lona namhlanje ukuthi mhlambe ke ngiphefumule ngifunde okukhulu kini impela nakusasa ngibonga naye umfowethu lapha ubaba Andrew ngibonga nakuye DT ngibonga nakuye DK impela ithuba leli ngithemba ukuthi into enhle kakhulu lena ingxoxisano enamandla enevula umqondo ngiyabonga kakhulu.
No, so before you turn off and you leave the studio, with your permission, hopefully one day when we're thinking of other topics and we might need a word or two from our experienced elders, hopefully you will be kind enough to join us, but we will take it as time goes.
Yes.
So from my side, I also thank you very much. And it was an honor to have you in our first session where we have guests. Daddy Andrew?
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
We can hear you now.
I just want to give you... Sorry. I just want to give you a couple of seconds just for you to sign off and just to say cheers to our audience.
DA,
It
are you
seems
there?
like
I'm here.
I think he's
Can
coming
you hear
back,
me?
losing
DA. Yeah, we just closing up. DT,
He's
you
here.
can redo the closing honors again.
Yeah, let's give Andrew while his signal is behaving. Quickly, Daddy Andrew, a couple of seconds to close off.
No, just thank you very much, gents, for having me on the session. It's just the back end of it where I lost connectivity, but it was really, humbling. It was a learning experience, and also an opportunity to impart and share one's experiences. And Tatisha Balala, thanks for your insights. Although I missed the part where I quizzed about how DT managed to win over one of your offspring, but I will watch the podcast
The
and
recording, ne?
yeah, I'll
I
get it.
forgot- I
It's on
forgot to
YouTube.
respond
It's on
to that.
YouTube. There's a channel. It's on YouTube.
All right,
Daddy
no,
Koketo?
Yeah. I just want to also thank everyone for being here today. Especially those guys that are with us as presenters or speakers on here. Guys that are here to share their thoughts, and more especially the people that are out there watching us, be it today or in the future. This is meant as a forum for us to all share experiences and better our lives on how to grow our children and make them realize that this is a friendly world and there are ills that exist, and this is us trying to kill those ills. Nexa minura mamu, but yeah, kill those ills. That is
All right.
I'm grateful for you to Bona or joinile and Bona. I was saying Chumile Dodge in front of me, specifically now. I know probably what in 10 years from now, maybe there'll be some guy knocking on my door asking to marry my daughter. Yeah.
All right.
I've Uchumile Dodge. Yeah. Guys, thanks for being here. This was awesome. This was awesome. Yeah.
It has
Let's
been
do
awesome.
it again.
It has been
Thank
awesome.
you.
There's a question that I did not answer before you leave, guys. Sorry. There's a question apparently that I did not answer from Daddy Andrew in terms of dress code, how they raised one of their daughters, and I hear that they've been mentioning Ogoti are married to one of Daddy DT. Or Baba Shabalala's daughters. So just to put it out there, yes, this is my father-in-law, Baba Shabalala. I'm married to his second wonderful daughter, Uzanele. In terms of dress code, there's a reason why I married her. That's all I'm going to say without talking too much. And I just want to thank you again to our guests. It has been an honor having you both on our session, and I hope we do again have an explosive session one day in the future. And don't forget that the session itself is being recorded, and we do have social platforms that you can join us. I'll be sharing our links and our numbers that basically you can be in touch with us on. And we've listened to you. You've asked for a continuation of that topic, and that's exactly what we did. So be in touch with us, talk to us. What is it that you'd like to see in terms of changes when it comes to this show? It is from us, but it is for you as our audience. So from my side, Daddy Tabiso, and to the rest of the crew and behind the cameras, I would like to thank you very much. And once again, we'd like to say to each and everyone out there, thank you. Siyabonga.